All right, I got had your name on my chest since 2005. It was April 2005. I got it done with a staple in one of the local county jails here for the federal holding facility. At the same time, I got my son Dylan's name done, my daughter Jaylee's name done, and then within the last year, I got my daughter Danielle, which is Jaylee's little sister that I adopted, along with David, which has a daddy, and Patience also. Well, most of them call me daddy, except for when they're mad at me. So, but that's you. I've had you on my heart since 2005, and that's where you always stay for life. And I keep Dylan to my left side, and my daughter to my right. My daughter's to my right, so it's my strongest side of my body. Dylan, he can fight already. So, this is my soon-to-be wifey, Jackie. This is T, me, 210's where we're from, San Antonio. That's where you're from. So that's the Plumley coat of arms. And then a Scorpio. And that's it. But you've been right there since 2005, so I see you every day, and I think about you a million times a day. So I love you, and be good out there. All right. My name is Travis Plumley. I am your father. I am reaching out to you in hopes that this reaches you in good health and spirits as it has left here. I'm just here to reply to hopefully reach out and give you something you can relate to, or maybe where you come from, or where you might be headed. I want to apologize for not reaching out earlier. I think the timing is all in God's hands and how the cards play out. So when I was your age, I was expelled from San Antonio schools. I had to drive 45 minutes to go to school. I got expelled from there within 6 weeks. Just headed down, path of whatever I wanted to do because nobody was there to tell me any different. And about a year and a half later, I had my son, my first son, Dylan. It changed my life totally. Good on my grades, just never, shit just didn't, it didn't end from your letters. I could relate to your understanding of like how school just might not interest you, or they think you're ADHD. Well, I don't believe in ADHD as a mental disability. I believe is some people strive harder and have more on their mind than just what's the simple task of like school or a chalkboard. I know that school might not interest you, but just do what you got to do to make it pass. My oldest boy, he's gonna be 19 this year. He's a senior. Just had a senior year soccer night last night. Very proud of him. He's held it through. He's held it up, and straight A student, and just exceeded any expectations as a son that a father could, possibly have. Period. My daughter, she exceeded those expectations the day she was born. So anything else other than that, which direction she goes in life is, A+ with me. So, and saying that, the day you were born, I had probably at that time in my life, I had like 30, maybe 25 instances with the cops. I didn't think the world was right to bring a kid up into it, to be involved with that kind of drama, or the drama I lived through as a child when my parents got divorced, because it was like, it was wild. So my mom is the best woman I know. There ain't too many women that can uphold to standards of being like a real mother for like their children, so. And as for me, since I've grown up, always, it's just been about family, my number one family, and that's all you got. At that time, my family abandoned me, so I didn't feel right about having children in the first place. I know one thing when I was any kid's age, whether it be 2 years old, 3 years old, 9 years old, you'd always wish, like, man, what if I had everything? You know what I mean? Like, what if I had, there was no financial, anger in the house. There was no stress of, what if, my parents had their shit together? How would my life turned out? You know what I'm saying? Would I have been, what would have happened? You know what I mean? What if I had everything? So let's just, bless this child with the home that, somebody's got a structured, family to actually, you know, provide for this child the way it needs to be provided for. Man, I had to give you up to God, and we both made that decision while you were in her stomach. But the way you came about, I'll tell you, it's like 1 in a million, though. So I had my tubes tied when I was 21 years old. I'm sure you've learned a little bit about the birds and the bees with the internet and Facebook and all that kind of stuff, so I'm not gonna go too deep into it, but after an operation like that, you got so many weeks before you're considered sterile, unsterile, whatnot. Well, we exceeded that time, whatnot, and we were conceived out of, after I was already considered like sterile, so that 1 in a million's gotta be you. You're a blessing. And so in that turn, we went through the process of adoption, and Jeff and Amy were the perfect match. It was something about how they felt about, the main thing that stuck out with me was like their discipline and their education, and how they were, one was American, one was French, so it's two different, cultures, both of them very well set in their in their careers and whatnot, and look well established. So, and just when I saw their picture, it was just, that's what it was. So it was instant. They came down, we met with your parents, and we hit it off. It was perfect. I felt very comfortable with Jeff and his handshake, and they're being excited, and just everything you look like for in a man and a mother, just very inviting and loving, and not judging, or not about what we were doing in our life, you know what I mean? Because it was just a very good and happy situation. I pride myself on being a daddy, and it takes a real man to be a daddy, and a real woman to be a mother. So I hope I chose the right daddy and mommy for you. I'm blessed to be your father. I love you.